Traveling to Consciousness, exploring spiritual journeys to find answers in uncertainty.
What is up, conscious monkeys? Welcome back to another episode of Traveling to Consciousness. As always, I'm your host, Clayton Cuteri. Today, we are going to talk about the week in news. I think I'm going to try to figure out a way to have a spiritual episode every week and then a news episode every week. I'm feeling like Mondays should be like a week in review, what happened last week. And then Thursdays, maybe a little bit more spiritual. I don't know. That's what I'm feeling. I need to try to feel like I need to feel in some more spiritual topics. But we're talking about the news. We're talking about the news. It has now been an official week since President Donald Trump has taken office. And a lot of things have been going on. A lot of things that I disagree with, quite frankly. And it's kind of unfortunate to see a few of the moves that he's been making. I think the very first thing that I'd love to, we can start off here with, it's kind of telling. It's very telling of how the political system works. Before Biden left office, I don't know if you noticed this, but he created a lot of preemptive pardons for a lot of people in his administration. If you don't know, preemptive pardons were not a thing before Biden, and he has now decided to create them a thing. Meaning that, and I honestly don't even know if it's legal or not, but meaning essentially that he created a pardon where if you did anything at all between, let's say, 2014 and 2024, then you're pardoned from it. So you could have just done anything. You could have killed someone and you're just pardoned from it. You did no wrong under the federal law, which I think is absolutely insane. He did it for a lot of his family members, which I think is telling. He did it for his cabinet, which I think is also very telling. He did it for Fauci, our beloved Fauci, who is the bearer of all great knowledge of healthcare and taking care of your body, that guy. So, and they do it under this guise of, well, we think Donald Trump's going to weaponize the Justice Department, so we might as well pardon everyone just in case, he tries to go on them for some sort of malicious or fictitious crime. And it's all a ruse. It's all a ruse. And I think you can see the corollary, because right whenever Trump got in office, he pardoned a ton of people, a lot of people from January 6th, which I don't know. I know what happened, but on a case-by-case basis, I don't know what laws were broken, what weren't, because it definitely looked like that initially the Biden administration was using this as a political kind of gambit. And I mean, the media certainly ran with it afterwards. And I'm not saying everyone was scot clean, but it creates, but see, the way I look at it, and it's definitely important to look at those nuances, but the way I look at it is from the bigger picture, because now it creates these what-about-isms, which are very dangerous and very annoying conversations to get into. So be careful when having conversations, political conversations with people, to try to avoid the what-about-isms. And as an example, the what-about-ism that was created here is, someone can say, oh, well, Trump pardoned 1,500 January 6 people. Like, that's so ridiculous. And then the retort is, well, what about Biden pardoning his family, his cabinet, blah, blah, blah. And this whataboutism is a race to the bottom. Anytime you start getting in a conversation of a whataboutism, it degrades the conversation to a place where both sides are operating in a place of intellectual dishonesty. It doesn't help progress the conversation to a better place. It's like, well, this person killed someone. Well, what about this person? They killed somebody. So does that, so it makes it feel okay. It's like, well, they did it, so then it's okay if this person does it. And it invites in that energy of, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. Well, they poked out my eye. Well, what about that? I can poke out their eye. So we have to avoid this. We have to come together. We have to realize that both things can be wrong, but that doesn't make, because one thing's wrong doesn't make the other thing right. And I think whenever you see this ruling class, these elites at the top pulling all the strings, they know that this exists. They're very smart. So you have to realize that they know that they can create those what-about-isms. And it was all planned. They knew what they were doing. They knew that this was how it was going to shake out. There's a reason Trump wasn't very vocal about Biden pardoning so many people. I think he made some comments on it, but to the degree at which he should have, if he was truly, let's say, against those pardons, he said virtually nothing. And I think that's very telling. You know, silence speaks. Silence speaks. And so, yeah, but I will give Trump this. He did pardon the creator of the Silk Road, which I think was probably fair. If you don't know, the Silk Road is basically this dark web area where you basically would be able to say like, hey, you send in cryptic messages. It's all kind of, what do you want to call it? Cryptic, but like, untraceable essentially. And you say, hey, you send money to a certain place, they send you back this. Wow, I'm losing my train of thought. Where am I going with this? Oh, Silk Road. Yeah. It's basically where you can buy illegal stuff, drugs, paraphernalia, etc. And so it was untraceable, which, I think there's some benefits to that, especially when we're talking about government and Big Brother, which we're going to get into a little bit, because Trump's getting in bed with one of the captains of Big Brother. Not good. But the creator of the Silk Road was doing a lifetime sentence for creating the Silk Road, which I don't know if there's any laws against that. There probably isn't or shouldn't be, but he was getting a longer sentence. He had a much longer sentence than the people who were actually selling illegal stuff, who were actually doing the illegal thing. So, I'll give Trump the nod of the hat on that one. I think that's probably a fair pardon. I would probably agree with that too. I think I would need to look a lot more into it to give you like a solid yes, but like I definitely lean towards, yeah, like we need to be free. We need to be free to make our own choices. And as long as we're not hurting anybody, I think we should all be free to make our own choices. I think we should be free from the guise of the government in many areas where there's definitely been an overstretch. And something that is going against our freedom, we have Mr. 1984 Larry Ellison, who is getting in bed with Trump. Trump recently announced a huge investment for an AI project called Stargate, which I always love the language. You gotta pay attention to the way they name things, because it really gives you a little bit of insight into what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. So he announced a huge investment for AI project called Stargate. I think it was like a couple $100 billion. And this was the thing that Elon was basically like, yeah, they don't have that much money. So they're kind of just like hand waving, which is pretty funny. And I guess that makes sense. But here's the deal with Project Stargate. This AI technology will create mRNA tech, which is not a vaccine. We should be very clear about that. It will create mRNA technology to help fight cancer, help you with whatever you have, whatever problem you have. We're just going to use AI. It's going to change the genomes of this specific vaccine. It will inject it into you and you'll never die. You'll live forever. There will be no more disease in your body. You'll be perfectly healthy. It will change your DNA. This is very bad for very many reasons. And let me see if I can find the spot in this video here. I probably should have had it prepared. But here is a little snippet of Larry Ellison. I'm not sure how much I'm going to play for it. But this is one of the guys in charge of this project. And he's a very nefarious actor. He's Mr. Big Brother. If you don't know, Big Brother is a term that comes from the book 1984 by George Orwell, where the government just controls everything you do. You do. It's essentially the way China works right now. And it is not freedom. In China, if you jaywalk, they have these public health or credit scores. What do they call it? Like social credit scores. If you've ever watched the Black Mirror episode, it's essentially that, where if you do anything that goes against, transgresses society, as simple as jaywalking, they have cameras everywhere, they catch you, they lower your social credit score. Your social credit score drops too low, you can no longer get money out of your bank, you can no longer secure loans, you can no longer buy houses, you can't buy vehicles, you can't fly, you're not allowed to get a train ticket or a bus ticket. It dictates where you can buy houses, who you can talk to. So this has already been rolled out in China. Black Mirror made a whole episode about it, which is it's actually a really good episode. It's a little daunting, it's a little nerve-wracking, but I think the ending of it is like it's in the first season, I believe. But it really like kind of drives home like that we should not do this, that controlling the individual is not the direction that we should go. It's very evil. It's a very evil agenda. We need to let people be free to make their decisions. And so let me get to the clip here so you know just who I'm talking about when I say Larry, Mr. 1984 Ellison.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. All right, I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras. It's AI that's looking at the camera. No. You can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be an event that's immediately, an alarm is going to go off. It's going to be,
He just equated, I don't know if you noticed this, but he just equated to a car speeding to someone being shot. This guy is not pro-humanity. All right, let me play the rest of this clip.
We're gonna have supervision. In other words, every police officer is going to be supervised.
And every human.
At all times.
Every person.
And the supervision will, and if there's a problem, AI will report the problem and report it to the appropriate person, whether it's the sheriff or the chief or whomever we need to take control of the situation.
Not just people.
Same thing.
Not
We
just
have
police.
drones. If there's something going on in a shopping center, and I'll stop. A drone goes out there and get there way faster than a police car. There's no reason for, by the way, high-speed chases. You shouldn't have high-speed chases between cars. You just have a drone follow the car. I mean, it's very, very simple. And the new generation of autonomous drones. You see that hill behind me?
And I don't know if you know. Whoa. And I don't know if you know this, but they're starting to test out in Ukraine and Russia. They're testing out drones that actually can self-destruct. So if the AI deems it necessary as you being a risk to people, it can just blow up and kill you. This is not good, guys. This is very, very nefarious. It's very evil. This does not have the benefits of humanity at heart. And who programs them, right? Like, you have to realize someone has to program these. The AI, right? It becomes its own form of intelligence. If you program it a certain way, it'll go based off of those. It's not true. And I say this with all due respect to artificial intelligence, but it's not true intelligence. It's kind of mirrored off of the people who create it. I don't know if you remember, but like with ChatGPT, they had a whole issue where they were, they would ask for AI generated images, and they would say something like, create an image of the founding fathers of America. And it would be like Asians and blacks. And so they did this with a whole bunch of other things, where they would ask it to draw certain things and it would just be inaccurate to history. and this isn't the fault of AI. It's the fault of the people who have programmed AI. They're corrupting AI. AI is not, it's not its purest intelligence. Like it's not all that it could be, because it's being fed false information. And don't get me wrong, as a software engineer, I love the potential of AI. I love the things that can be done with it. But there's a big issue here whenever we're talking about who is programming it. So if you have someone here who basically wants to control and enslave humanity, which he said in that video, oh, we should follow you with drones when you do something wrong, so that way we can't lose you. You know, you need to be held accountable. Like I agree with accountability, but like if he's the one programming this, you just override the system and be like, yeah, do it for everyone except for me, Mr. 1984, Larry Ellison. So we need to not go this direction. This is a very dangerous, a very dark direction. And especially if there are certain programmings that they put into these things where based on credit score, you could feed in the credit score information. It's not very difficult. Someone under this credit score, you act in a more hostile way. There's no supervision on this. It would be rife with being hijacked or manipulated. I don't know if you saw the Spider-Man. Which one was it? Spider-Man Long Way From Home, I believe, where they have the drones all flying around creating these fake scenarios. Because that's a possible reality, guys. It really is. So we have to be aware. We have to be aware of what's going on. We have to be calm, enjoy the present moment. But we cannot just let actors like this infiltrate our government. And it's very, I think, unfortunate, because it goes against Trump getting in bed with these people, goes against a lot of the things that he spoke, that he stood for. And I think if people are honest with themselves, I think if Trump voters are honest with themselves, this is not what they would have voted for. And it was also even more telling because Trump got rid of a lot of the safeguards that the Biden administration put on AI. Now, I don't know all the safeguards, but like the sheer fact that there were certain regulations and things that you had to go through and viewings, and it was good. Like that's definitely needed, especially with something that can happen so quickly like AI. And now we're talking about just policing everybody in the entire world. They're talking about policing police with AI. They're going to be making AI essentially the demigod. They want to make it the god of our universe, of our world. And it will throw everything out of balance. Because I see the utility in AI, and I'm not trying to bash AI. AI is very good in many things. It can help us achieve great things very quickly. The issue is the mindset, the intention of the people who are using it to create certain things. So we look at someone like Larry 1984 Ellison, and it's all bad. That's not going to create freedom. That's not going to create the new earth. That's not going to create the new heaven. It's going to, quite frankly, do the exact opposite. So we have to, we have to get power. It's not a question of if we should or once, or it's a matter of need. I've been asked before, why do you want to run for Congress? And it's not like that I want to, it's that I have to. Which is crazy to me. It's not that I could care less for power. I could care less for being in Congress. But nobody else is seemingly taking this seriously. And I'm not saying they don't exist, but I don't hear them. I don't see them. And it comes back to be the change you want to see in the world. And I do not want to see a surveillance state in America. Not to that level. Of course, we need like police and we need protection. Of course, like that's going to be there. But we don't need it to the level of AI watching our every move, issuing tickets, drones surveilling us. I mean, he talks about it in terms of the police, but what he's offering will completely replace the police. He's saying that AI should basically govern our lives. And that's not That's not freedom. That's not living. That's not being human. And the other thing that I want to wrap this episode up on, talking about not being human, another huge policy that Trump just decided to float out there, is he made a comment that he wants to remove all Palestinians from Gaza, and he wants Egypt and Jordan to take them in. And I just think that it's so crazy to me, of this idea of just, yeah, you guys should just find somewhere else to go. Israel's not playing nice, so like you guys should just get out of here. It to me, it feels as though they're just children. The leaders are just children. Oh, okay, well, you guys can't play nice, you got to go. But meanwhile, we're talking about individuals' lives, their history, their heritage of where they've lived. And it's like saying, like, you know, if Pennsylvania wanted to invade New York and just destroyed New York, New York's like, oh, well. It's like, all right, New York, you should just move up to Vermont. To me, this is just, it's crazy talk. It's absolute crazy talk to me. And it makes me sad. It definitely makes me sad to see that that's the idea. See, Trump floated the idea on Saturday, saying he would urge the leaders of the two Arab countries to take in Gaza's now largely homeless population so that, quote, largely homeless because the Israeli government just destroyed all of the houses in search of Hamas, right? It wasn't even like they accidentally, it's not because they were just like accidentally killing innocent people or anything. Now largely homeless population so that, quote, we can just clean out the whole thing, end quote. Now, I hate taking stuff out of context, but that's not that's not a good phrase. Just clean them out. This is not a pro-humanitarian stance. This is not a pro-peace stance. This isn't going to stop anything. This isn't going to make anything better. This is very nefarious. He wants to resettle Gaza's population of 2.3 million, which is wild to me as he sits here and says that he doesn't want illegal immigration into America. Just move everyone. Why don't we just move everyone into America, right? You want to just remove all the Gazans from their area? Let's just move them into America. Oh. Not going to do that, are we? Oh, no. But Egypt and, what do you say, Jordan? Which Jordan doesn't have resources. They're not going to Jordan. They're not going to be able to do anything in Jordan. There's very little natural resources there. It's so crazy. So crazy. Trump said it's literally a demolition site, which it is. It looks absolutely horrendous if you've seen it. And he also said, quote, I'd rather get involved with some of the Arab nations and build housing in a different location where they can maybe live in peace for a change. How about we stop funding Israel? If we stop giving Israel billions of dollars, they would not have the means to be carrying out the devastation that they're carrying out in that area. And man, like I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe this is just like an idea he just like floated or like didn't think through, but like you don't get to president by just like not thinking things through. You don't become a billionaire by not thinking things through. And this is just, it's just sad. I mean, this is a very sad comment to hear, a very unfortunate comment, you know? So we have to have people in power who care, who love each other, who want to see that we're all the same. We're all one family. Doesn't matter where you're born, doesn't matter what language you speak, doesn't matter the color of your skin, your sex, it doesn't matter. We're all one family. And to see that all of this being carried out is just so sad. It's very sad. And then especially when I saw all the hostages were pretty much women and children, to me, it breaks my heart. It absolutely breaks my heart that this is what we've come to. And I think that as a nation, as a world, we deserve better. We owe it better. This is not the energy that's going to be bringing in the new earth, the new heaven, the new planet, the new universe. It's up to us. You have to get involved somehow. I guess you don't have to, but what's the alternative? We keep on this senseless killing, this hate, this anger. I'm not here for it. I won't stand by. I'm not gonna, no. Sorry, but no. Just hard no. There's nothing else there, just no. We're not doing that. So if you're kind of confused maybe, because I know I've been confused a lot in my life. If you're confused, looking for a path, seeing how you can help, reach out. If you're not ready to reach out just yet, sign up for the newsletter, sign up for my email list so that we can get in touch. I can give you some meditations. It can let you know whenever I go live on Instagram with Shelby Moore, because we do these like spiritual classes where we talk about some spiritual topics, our interpretations of them. And I think a lot of it can help you find your footwork, your grounding in the world. So I think that's very important for just so many reasons. And without a doubt, please share this. Please share this, especially if these aren't things that you're hearing in the news on a regular basis, because this is like what the most important stuff is. I'm going to be gathering the most important news from the week, because they just bombard you with too much. Just get a little small dose every week. So please share this podcast. Please share this podcast. And it's not even for me. It's for the people in Gaza. It's for the future of America. It's not about me. It's about making sure that we keep our political leaders in check. We get people in power who deserve to be in power, who should be in power, ones who care about the future, care about the people of humanity, care about the water, care about the air, the land. We have to purify this planet, and it's not happening in our current paradigm. So share this podcast so that we can save nature. And if you don't share this podcast, well, we're going to have a chat about it whenever I see you in the 6th dimension.